The night was cold, and the city's lights shimmered like distant stars on the wet pavement. Inside a modest one-bedroom apartment on the edge of downtown, Sarah tucked her little boy into bed. Her son, Danny, only 6 years old, had the kind of smile that made people forget about the world's harshness for a while. But tonight, there was a heaviness in the air, a silence that wrapped around them like a thick blanket. Sarah was exhausted. Being a single mother meant carrying the weight of 2 lives. She worked double shifts at a local manufacturing company and took small cleaning jobs in the evenings to make ends meet. Ever since her husband had walked out on them 2 years ago, it had been a battle to stay afloat. Bills piled up, the fridge was often empty, and her body ached in places she didn't know existed. That night, on her way back from a cleaning job, she noticed a man sitting near a bus stop bench, soaked to the bone, shivering violently. Most people would have passed by without a glance, assuming the worst or simply not wanting to get involved. But Sarah wasn't most people. Something about the man's eyes struck her. Not pity, not weakness, but quiet sadness. Something familiar. "Are you okay?" she asked gently, her umbrella sheltering only half of him. He looked up. "Just need to make it through the night." She hesitated. Every voice in her head screamed caution. But the humanity in her heart, tempered by years of hardship, spoke louder. "I don't have much," she said softly. "But I have a couch, and it's warm. You can stay the night. Just don't try anything stupid." He nodded, grateful, and followed her home without a word. She made a hot cup of tea, offered him a blanket, and set some leftover soup on the stove. They didn't talk much. He introduced himself as Michael. Just Michael. No last name, no backstory. He thanked her repeatedly but didn't offer details. She didn't ask for any. That night, as Sarah lay in bed listening to the quiet breathing from the living room, she wondered if she had made a mistake. But something told her that this man wasn't dangerous. Lost, perhaps, but not harmful. The next morning, Michael was already up, sitting at the kitchen table with Danny, who was laughing at something the man said. It was a rare sound in the apartment. Sarah smiled despite herself. "I should get going," he said after breakfast, standing with the same calm humility. "Thank you, for everything. You didn't have to do that." She shrugged. "We all need a little help sometimes." He paused, almost like he wanted to say more, then nodded and walked out into the gray morning. Weeks passed. Life returned to its rhythm. Sarah's shifts became longer as rumors swirled about company-wide changes. A new CEO had taken over, they said, some former investor or entrepreneur brought in to modernize operations and clean house. She didn't care. Executives came and went, but people like her stayed buried in the trenches. Then came the day everything changed. Sarah was called into the main office. She assumed it was about the missed days she took when Danny was sick. Or perhaps they had finally noticed she'd taken on too many overtime hours. Her heart pounded as she knocked on the sleek glass door. "Come in," came a calm voice. She entered and froze. Sitting at the head of the table was Michael. Clean-shaven, in a tailored suit, every inch the corporate leader he was rumored to be. But those eyes, they were the same. Soft, thoughtful, kind. "You," she whispered. He smiled, standing slowly. "Sarah, please, have a seat." Her legs felt like jelly, but she obeyed. "I never got the chance to tell you who I was," he said. "After my father passed, I took over the company he founded. I wanted to know what it was like, what life was like, for the people working on the ground. So I came anonymously. No chauffeur, no fancy introductions. I wanted to see the reality, not what people pretended to show me." Sarah stared at him, speechless. "I'll never forget what you did that night," he continued. "You didn't know me, didn't owe me anything, and yet you showed more humanity than I've experienced in boardrooms full of millionaires. You didn't ask for my name or my story. You just helped." She blinked rapidly, not knowing what to say. "I want to help you now," he said. "Not out of pity, but because you represent the kind of people this company should be about, strong, decent, hard-working souls who never give up." He handed her a folder. Inside was an offer letter. Full-time employment in the company's operations department, with a significant salary bump, benefits, and flexible hours to support single parents. Sarah covered her mouth with her hand, tears threatening to fall. "Why?" she finally asked. "Because kindness shouldn't go unnoticed," he said simply. "And because we need people like you to help us reshape this company." In the months that followed, Sarah's life transformed. She moved into a better apartment. Danny got into a good school. She even began mentoring other single mothers at the company, guiding them through job opportunities and childcare options. Michael didn't disappear either. He visited the factory floor regularly, spoke with employees, and learned their names. And though he was always professional, there was a quiet friendship that grew between him and Sarah, a bond built not on power or status but on shared understanding and mutual respect. One rainy evening, much like the night they first met, they crossed paths again in the parking lot. She stood under her umbrella, smiling as she watched Danny splash in puddles nearby. "Strange, isn't it?" Michael said, standing beside her. "How life works." She nodded. "Sometimes the worst nights lead to the best beginnings." He looked at her for a moment, then said, "Thank you for trusting a stranger." "And thank you," she replied, "for not staying one." In a world where people often turn a blind eye, Sarah's simple act of compassion lit a spark that changed not just her life, but the lives of countless others. Her story became a reminder that kindness costs nothing, but its value is immeasurable. And that sometimes, the universe works in the most unexpected ways, connecting souls in moments when they need it most. Because real change often begins with one small act of human decency. One door opened, one night of shelter, one heart willing to help another, without asking for anything in return.